Hey folks, welcome to another NHL Game of the Night on EA Sports. The next matchup, as we're about to get things down on the board, we have another playing matchup in a divisional rival series. This time, it's right in the range between Missouri and Nashville, Tennessee. It's the Blues, and they are facing against the divisional on the opponent team against the Nashville Predators. As one of the best here games here right into the range, as they're both in connection between from Tennessee to Missouri, these are the only ones that are connected right to the range in the Western Conference. The next matchup, as we're probably looking for it, is how is it going to take them to do some one trick to another? Well, you're about to find out and see what takes in for some hugest impact scores. Tonight's commentary, I have it in Nashville, is Brent, and also along with Dave and Scale, it will be joining us here for tonight's game. And joining it on the center ice is Salvatore, aka the Snipe. And now here are the starting goaltenders. Starting for St. Louis is Jordan Binnington and Joel Hofer. And for Nashville Predators, UC Saros is the overhead and Inanimate the other way. Now let's see what the players are starting in for St. Louis Blues. The one thing we talk about for St. Louis Blues is Robert Thomas. He has a tape-to-tape zones and ankle breaker. With Jordan Kyrou, he makes the wheels and the tape-to-tape zones. And Colton Parayko, who makes a stick-em-up and the warrior. Braden Shen with the born leader and Trulensless with the spark plug. There's destructive and energizing action. Jordan Binnington with the recharging with the rapid recover under pressure. And Dylan Holloway with the spark plug and quick picks. Then it's Cam Fowler from the wheels and Illy Edgers. Then it's Pavel Buchnevich with the Illy Edges and the Big Tipper. And last but not least is Nathan Walker. The pressure does take it off. Now let's go over to the Nashville side as the Predators have Roman Josi, the wheels and the send-it pass, who makes the tape-to-tape on its own angle. Philip Forsberg, everybody's been talking about the fours on his great take, quick release, pressure tee, and ankle breaker. UC Saros is one of a post-to-post blank on the miraculous angle agility to crease the saves on his big own attacker. Then Ryan O'Reilly with the tape-to-tape and the quick draw. Jonathan Marchessault with only the tape-to-tape and the ankle break. Then Steven Stamkos who only makes the 1T and the quick release. And finally, the only one that we are calling for is for some new plays on its own action. As for Onanen, will be the starting goaltender to get things started off for the Nashville Predators. Along, we don't have any other players that does the same thing. We'll see what Nashville has to fight back to get into the playoffs. Yeah, they tried to work things out, but hopefully we'll see them later on the other side of it. I'm not sure when this is going to happen, but hey, it's anybody's game. You never know what's going to happen. So it's now Barry, Scale, and Salvatore ready. Let's send you down to Smashville. Blues, Preds, next after this. We'll see you later for the intermission and postgame show. It's Smash time in Smashville. Hey everybody, I am Barry and I'm here with Scale and the center ice is Salvatore. The biggest night here in Smashville in Bridgestone Arena as we're ready to have our puck drop. And as we get settled in for the game, we are all fueled and ready to go. Tonight's starting goaltenders is between Jordan Binnington, and as for Joel Hofer, he'll be the starting goaltender, and as for the other player is UC Saros the other way. They will start things off here as Josi has it again to Philip Forsberg. Forsberg will start it off. He finds it over to Josi. It looks over to Skeggy. He will now have the fan over to Forsberg again to Skeg. A chance over to Forsberg. He'll have it over to Josi. Big change up here as for the Nashville Predators. They'll keep things moving along. The blocker is maintained here for the players on offense. As now is Ryan O'Reilly with a rebound. Forsberg with a chance for the effort, and it's blocked up, and it's Evangelista with the rebounding. Overkick the puck deck right around the wall.
Luke Shen will start things up as Broberg will send it over to Shen. The Blues take their offensive zone, and it's now here's for Rico. Snuggle rug right into the road. And it's over now given to Forsberg as Nashville clears that one out of the way. Well, I gotta say now, and what I need to know about Shea, they've really been showing us some greatness of the airfield. But I don't see anything that's gonna like keep things and messing things around. And most times, particularly, I've been watching on this for so long, and it may not be anything that I really wanted to see. But Emelisa and the teammate are really doing for. I think this is the part off with the first consecutive is making a miss, so it looks like they'll have to try to regain the groove. As here's Emelisa, right through it away. Back over to Ryan O'Reilly, he'll have it to Furbix. Furbix with a chance to fire a shot, it's off the glass, and it's gives to Broberg. Now here's Snugglebug the other way, as the Blues goes the other on the attacking range. Emelisa tries to get that puck out of the way. Hits right near the wall, and it almost goes right into the bench, and it's Broberg given again over to Shen. And here's Snugglebug. Changes on a shot opportunity. That one is over and missed out of the way. And Emelisa will try to get that one battled again to Eric Holla. Now he will send to Emelisa, and he is off to Furbix. In the Blues territory, it's Furbix. Eric's chance to Holla on a shot. Big save made by Hofer. And now here's Holt by Falk. And Bouchard will now have it across into the Nashville territory. That one is given away here by Eric Holla. We'll now have it back in again, over to send it again to Furbix. Well, seemingly like now, man, when you ever just do things for real, with holding him in lifing and his big offensive ability. No change off what you need to do for Furbix and the teammate. That's what's causing it to try to give that a huge dis-option plays, and that's for Smashville. They've been leaving it off. They've got to try to work things in for their offensive strategy. Nashville rebounding again to Blankenberg, again to stretch Coffee, looks to Blankenberg. Keeps moving across around. And Bouchard will have it delivered out. A big hit here into the center of the ice, and it's now Nick Furbix. And that pass is broken by Bale Vucevic. Vucevic comes to the attacking, now finds it over. And that one's back again to Falk. He's now hit the Bouchard, and he'll have it again over. Joutz has got that puck away. Here's Jonathan Marchessault. Back in the Blues territory, it's Joutz. Joutz's shot has been blocked and taken away here by Sunbets. St. Louis on the attack, and it's now given the other way. Baron with the block shot. And now it's McCarron. Aaron sets the pass over to Schaefer. Schaefer chance. Big put on the gloves. This blocker stop made by Hofer. As Justin Folk will now have it to Bouchard. Bouchard in trouble. Nashville regaining defensive zones to have pressure. Here's Pavel Buchnevich. He now sends it over to Justin Folk, and it's sent over again to Bouchard. Nashville regaining the group here on offense is now Smith. Smith with the rebound. He'll now send it the pass over to Baron, and that one's broken by Broberg. Here Bouchard on the attack. Here's a chance in. A huge save made by Saros. That one goes right back over to McCarron with a huge save. The pad is inbounding, and when I just realizing that's where that first one comes in. That's where it's going to get. And I realizing that this one is almost going to mess it up. Roman Josi back in the offensive zone. Past the midway mark in the first period. He'll have it again to Emelisa. Emelisa will send a glove save by Hofer, and he'll step out and play with only 9:05 remaining in the first. What we see about now is that UC Saros is making the great ones in the save. This is the kick pad and save at the post-to-post blank range. That's where that first one made him in attempting. They don't seem to like looking for UC Saros to have this good range. That one kicked it with the beauty. And now sending over to center ice, I will now have is Salvatore joining us here for Roman Josi. Thanks, fellas. What I said about Roman Josi, here's the one thing that we are all been looking on. And today, right now, as Roman Josi has one of his big captain here for the teams, this is where they really start things out. What the teammate really does for Roman Josi, he makes the wheels on a cut motion inbounding. The pass off is great here for Roman Josi to have it quick started, so it's some protection. I'm still looking forward to it, guys. I'm looking forward to Roman Josi for his captain reign to start the inbounding. Let's hope that this one takes the start for the Nashville. Guys? Thanks, Sal. How it's rebounded by Jordan Kyrou as St. Louis is grabbing the attack and over the other way. Rushes right to Gillen Holloway. Two save made by Zaros. Roman Josi will now have it again to Holla. Boy, nice saving is a great take. I was looking forward into. Haven't said about now, but UC Saros, he was really like kicking it out. It's a big deal. Roman Josi ends with a fire shot. That one is off of Stamkos and rebounded by Dvorak. St. Louis looking over the other way here for as Holloway will now have it across. Now he sends it over to Dvorak. Deep in the zone to pass over to Broberg, and that one is given by Stamkos. Stamkos sends it over to Michael Bunting, and he'll have his on his way down. I'll send it past the Holla. That one is broken up again by the St. Louis Blues. Here's Torbachenko, and that pass again to Holloway. Holloway trying to look over Torbachenko, right toward the middle of it, and a chance man, he scores! Dylan Holloway with the first of the goal, and it's a big rebound to pass by Saros. It takes a 1-0 lead for St. Louis. What happens with Dylan Holloway, you just don't really like to play it offensively. Watch where Dylan Holloway goes in with the big of a save, and this one is a cut motion. You don't start that looking good. This offense is really going to try to kick that out. And what Holloway does, this rebound is where it goes back into the net and just right past the Husey Saros. That's the first goal when you really are not seeing things clearly. Saros had one, but this second one doesn't start off well. Nashville is clearly finding a room here as his first goal starts for Dylan Holloway. The last game he had played for against was the Vancouver Canucks, and they had beat him with a hat trick with a win, and they beat over by Vancouver. Well, I say about when it happened to Vancouver, he really had made that one starting on the blank and on the bird. He really would have to start snowing off at celebrating him there. You won't see how it's going to get there, but the quicker the better, the more take you have to do for. Arkansas now has some adjust. Here's Verbeck shoots. Glove save by Hofer. And here's Cam Fowler, and it's now given to Snugglewall. Here's for the Blues on the attacking range. Verbeck is given away as for Nashville goes back in offense home. Arkansas with only 4 minutes remaining in the first period. Tries to give over to Johnson. A shot. Huge save play by Hofer. Alex is now trying to get the foul. Blues running in control and offensive in the wing near the net, and that one is covered by Saros. He'll stop that in play with only 3:24 remaining in first. As we go back to Salvatore, here's another chance here for Dylan Holloway. Thanks, folks. Dylan Holloway had to start off with the first goal tonight, but today is a big effort when he was bringing some greatness to his workness. What Dylan Holloway made it do for him, he has whatever tape on the zones. The quick pick is a great way to have some interceptions on the pass, and it does happen to show now when nobody is able to carry this in. And for Nashville, they're watching on Dylan Holloway. We're having some big use of their energy. No crowd stands in favor if he starts his own. I'll watch it on Dylan Holloway and see how he can able to hang on to have his own first take to have 2 more goals in the first period. Guys, over to you. Nashville still looking for a first goal in, and it's a 1-0 lead for St. Louis. Ryan O'Reilly wins the faceoff. Yoshi's chance. Big blocker save made by Hofer. Falk with the rebound. It's down for Tucker. He'll now have it over to Stenberg. Stenberg chance over now behind the Bouchard. Bouchard chance is rebounded by Brady Shea. He was over to Forsberg. On the range he goes, right to O'Reilly. O'Reilly shot, blocker save, he scores! Look at Melissa with the rebound and now at time. You know, that's nothing to change off and in there, and then this is when the rebound has picked. Watch what happens with Luca Melissa. He has pulled it back, and this now is given a tiredness of the game. No chance is given that simple. And what happens to Melissa, he just tipped it right back in there. I thought that first goal turned out to be successful now. And with Melissa, that goes off of the net, but this is where the rebound was going to go right by. Not near the crease in, but that first goal is where Nashville got started off really well. Nashville has tied that one up with 1-1 after a broken lead off for Dylan Holloway. Only 1:15 remaining right over to Philip Forsberg. Forsberg right around the net, and this will be the first station goal for the Nashville Predators in the first period. Under a minute remaining in the first period, as now this will give to Shea. Here's a chance now to Forsberg. And here's to Parayko. He'll send it over to Holloway. Right over into the Nashville territory. That one is broken up by Forsberg. Right over to Steven Stamkos. Rolls it out of the way. Stamkos has got it back. Here's a chance now to Philip Forsberg. Forsberg right toward it away. Right over to Stamkos. Shot. Huge on a save by Hofer. And he stops it, and now ends the freeze off the first period. Therefore, as the tie game comes along, Luke Evangelista. He scores his rebound after a shot by Ryan O'Reilly attempt, and they are now tied 1-1 as we return to Nashville after these messages.
Hey everybody, welcome to the first intermission as we have already been clearing it out for some Game of the Nights. I'll start off for Dylan Holloway with the first goal, and that one nearing before the end of the first period. And then it was Nashville, Luke Evangelista, with his own rebound that he has been taking. This is one of the big goals that he has made. As for Dylan Holloway, as he's tied up with the first goal with Luke Evangelista. One take doesn't stand a choice, but there might be only one take that might have that opening off with the draw. With the coach's feedback, this is not a gliding protection that they are looking for. The target range was a little okay, but they need to protect the puck from the defender on the other side of it. And here's how they did after the first period. 12/4 with the total shots on goal for Nashville. And it was 5/3 for St. Louis on a hit. 507/101 for the time on attack for Nashville. And it was 90/88 for St. Louis. 5/1 face-off wins for the Preds that they really start off and smashing it out. Now I'll go over to Roy Cruz about the Nashville Predators as they found a way to tie it from Luke Evangelista.
Well, most likely that Luke Evangelista had that with the first goal, and I wasn't pretty sure that he was really kicking it off to start. What Luke Evangelista did, that is the rebound that he really had it crucially, a start-off play draw. No puck drawing with the face-off really comes in fruition, but that really makes it a clearest range to have that first goal coming. That one really makes a rebound after Dylan Holloway with the shot, and that didn't really pay enough attention afterward. For Arnoldin, he was watching it carefully by Husey Saros. That might have been a tough save, but needless to say, that's where it doesn't really pay the price. And now how about you for St. Louis Blues, your son of beast? Well, that first goal had to be started off for Dylan Holloway. That's where it was going to go in. And what you don't really notice about how they're really smacking it out, what Smashville need to be doing is they have to watch out with the clear on attack from Husey Saros, and they need to start showing it how they can handle it. But with being said, that Husey Saros really need to make sure that he watches on Hofer to make sure he doesn't really pass and Krupalding the overall bank shot. Let's hope that this takes it out.
So that's it for the first intermission. We'll see what happens with the second intermission as a leadoff.
Yep, there might be doing. I think that Steven Stamkos might see it going, but let's find out how it happens.
We go back down to Nashville, and we get ready for the second period.
Guys, all you. See you later for the second intermission. We're back at Bridgestone Arena. Glad you have us join us as we're ready to get ready for the puck drop for the second period. Both players are ready, and if you're just joining us, we have played one period, but there's 2 more periods to go as we're ready for the second. And Scale, let's have your thoughts here on how that Nashville took that one with a tying effort to have that one with a great goal to have that rebound.
Well, it's great nothing to say about this, and I wasn't pretty sure, but they really kept it up and doing the work. Job after word that they really are trying to do for us. They just really need to keep on scoring. Chances happened for Lisa. He had his first rebound in, and he really took it all. Actually, that first goal really needs.
Ready Shea shot. Chance in. Step made by Hofer, and it's rebounded off by Shea. Nashville beginning to group here, now finding the Forsberg.
Angelisa finding over to Shea. And he gets to Angelisa.
Hands over to Forsberg. Forsberg again to Shea. Shea chance over now to Angelisa. He finds Forsberg. Backhander. Glove save by Hofer. 17:56 remaining in the second period as they're ready to have a glide in for another puck drop. 5/2 face-off wins for Nashville Predators. As now this one is another puck drop to be ready. Ryan O'Reilly wins the face-off. Romaniosi has now to O'Reilly. O'Reilly now finds it over to Shea. Keeps moving around again. Looking to go right to the middle, and this one is stopped up by Hofer. And this one will stop and play with only 17:32 remaining. What sometimes you don't really see anything about Dylan Holloway. You know, that's a quick pick release man. That's the spark plug you gotta watch on. Big on eye, it might be the helpful effort. Dylan Holloway trying to look for the puck steal, and now here's Angelisa. Sets to Yossi. Yossi fires a chance, and there's a save by Hofer. 17:09 remaining in the second period, as Nashville trying to look for a lead-off in for 2-1 game. Still ready to take the pursuit. They're ready for our next puck drop. Ryan O'Reilly with the third consecutive winning faceoff, and the puck goes out of the way, right over to UC Saros, and you'll have it over to Yossi. The Predators are getting in the back of the offensive zone as they rush right toward the zone. Emelisa with the rebound. Nashville gives it over now, finding to Forsberg. Give it over to Emelisa. That puck escapes the zone, and he could not handle it. That one just goes out of the zone and right out and away. Here comes Jordan Kyrou for the Blues' chance. It's blocked up by Shea and rebounded it for the Prez. Well, that was pretty close on the call of range effort by Brady Shea. He really made it sure that he makes it sloppy. I don't see anything that's going to make that change. Oh, looks over that gate. Makes the Fabrics. Nashville keeps moving around for the puck back and forth. Triangle motion, now finding to Steven Stamkos. Stamkos shot, big pitch on the blocker. And now it's Dvorsky after a blocked shot. Here's Kyrou. Kyrou don't have a chance to find it. And that one is over the other way. As Fairbanks will now give some new line change. Philip Forsberg steps out. And now back on ice will be Jokes. Now swings it to Marchessault. Hinkenberg comes up. It's now Jordan Kyrou the other way to Buchnevich. 3-on-2 on a fast break. He now finds us over to Shen. Glove save by Saros. Under 14 minutes remaining in the second period. And they're ready to have another puck drop. Both teams are still aggressive. But the next goal might have to lead in for 1-1 to 2-1. Fetchkov wins the faceoff. Brandon Haig will now have it over. That's again the Jokes. Kaus got that puck into Blues territory. And that one rolls it by. Jake Neighbors now has it over to the other way to Shea. Here come the Blues. And that one moves it out of the way. Can't get by. Nick Blankenberg the other way for Nashville. Here's Marchessault. Huge shot. Big save by Gopher. That one, big tackle and inbounding as Tucker with the rebound. Boy, big chance in saving afterwards. I mean, I wasn't really sure he was really able to keep that out of here. The biggest range, and I wasn't even spotting it on, was Marchessault. He was able to have that clear look. That one is given back. Here's Jokes. House chance. Again over to Blankenberg. Blankenberg keeps moving around again to Marchessault. That's the 12-minute mark in the second period as Blankenberg will now have it to bear on. Eric, count shot, big stop by Hofer. Neighbors will now have it again to Polk. Polk chase out over to Snugglroyd. Here comes Neighbors. Neighbors try to go right to the wing. Outside zone. It's stopped by Bunting. And a shot blocked by Svechkov. Romagnosi. And here comes Bunting. Bunting, a chance, breakaway chain, move around, stop made by Hofer. Right over to Stamkos, and now it's the Nashville Gainer group. What happened right now, that happens with only Hofer. That makes it great of a save. He really had ripped it through. Great chance for Michael Bunting, but he was not really up to that heavy attacking range. That really made that one a mess. Rosie stops on that. Josie goes down, rebounded by Eric Holla. Kicked it over right toward in the middle. And that one will rebounded by Buvel Vucinovic. Past the midway mark in a second. Sunbest can't take the possession in there, and that's Shea who keeps his own. Looks to Stamkos. Stamkos looks over to Mark Herron. Herron shoots. Glove save by Gopher. 9:06 remaining in the second period as they're nearing the puck drop, trying to look for an empty net to have that goal. Well, for Sunbest, and you just really don't see it. This is the hit. When you go right over to the play, the offense, this is where that rages in. That bull raging through is going to make a match. That is where that happens with the skill that they just don't seem to care for. That makes them knock him down. Here's Michael McCarron, and now it's Broberg. He'll have that pass over to Vucinovic. Vucinovic crosses into the line. That one is given away by Hagu. And Furbitz. Down to McCarron. Aaron cross again to Schaefer. Good stick lift here for the Blues. Now here's Vucinovic. Then pass over again to Stenberg. Stenberg bumps him up across. No penalty on Nashville. And it's rebounded off by Schaefer. Here's Smith. Now as for the Preds are on the attack. He looks over McCarron. Shoots. Blocked and saved. Trying to get a rebound by Nick Fairbanks. That one is rebounded. And we'll have to reset it from outside of the zone. Well, that's a great take. I mean, you need to slow things down a little bit. If you're doing it too fast, that's why the goaltender is going to really race his heartbeat. Hague shot. Big save by Hofer. Broberg now has it up in the wall. And past the 7-minute mark of the second period. Here's Barrett. Nashville regaining the group here for on the offensive side. And it's now McCarron. Looks around the Forsberg. Forsberg shot out and a stop by Hofer. And back to Broberg again to snuggle rod. Who's with it? That one swings and misses, and a shot, and it's stopped by Saros. Under 6 minutes remain in the second period, as both teams are ready to take their rehydration and back into work. Still 1-1 game, as it's already tied in Bridgestone Arena. Ryan O'Reilly wins the faceoff. Nick Blankenberg behind the net, and now he'll get right through it, again to Philip Forsberg. Here comes Philip Forsberg. Moves it across. Big save by Forsberg. Right behind the net. And it's Broberg with the rebound over to Parayko. Now that really is another one. That almost missed it out. It's an opportunity. That would almost been like a mess and swing. And there'll be a penalty. That's going to be on the French again on the Blues. And it'll be the first power play starting for the France. Well, that's what you don't really
penalty on number 81. 2 minutes for
messed it up, and he just pushes right across. That's on Donovan Marchessault, and that is where that first penalty is going to cause him to get nothing else. Nashville will start their first power play advantage, and they'll get ready for the puck drop. Nashville has to start things off at the power play. The biggest percentage that you need to be doing this for is the key in position. One time you need to do for it, and you have to be ready. Whenever the power play gets into you got to make sure you're right on time. Stamkos now finding Roman Josi. Here's another one to Marchessault. Stamkos fires it, and it's all been redirected off Ryan O'Reilly. So we're down again to Stamkos. Forsberg. Over now, O'Reilly. Behind the net, and rebounded by O'Reilly. Keeps moving again to Stamkos. And we'll have to reset it up outside of the zone. Stamkos waits patiently now, finds it over to Ryan O'Reilly. Ryan O'Reilly sets it across the zone. He finds Marchessault. Cuts for the motion in front, and that one is off a defender and rebounded by Marchessault. Stamkos looks to Josi. 45 seconds for the Preds power play. Marchessault goes out of here, and it's now rebounded off by Stamkos. Just 30 seconds for the Preds power play. They need to start moving down there fast, because if they don't really start moving it, that means they're going to be taken away. Uh-oh, here comes Steve Shorthanded goal. Attempt, shot, saved by Saros. Two-time stop by Saros. What a big save for the France. Oh, that is one of the big athletic motion. They never said it now, but that was a great save. And as the power play comes to the end, they now go back down to full strength. I really love the hustling when you don't see things about Roman Josi, and he was really been like heat up to a gas tank. He just did not feel like he was able to fuel it up. But as for Hofer, that is where you just spot on. And now as for Juuse Saros, he just made that one with the hugest save. You have to give credit with that if you really are watching it. Blues comes right behind it. Here's Holloway for two. That one he cannot get by. And he gets over to Michael Bunting with only 2:15 remaining. Tries to roll it in. Speeds to Holland. Shot. Backhander glove save by Hofer. 2:04 remaining in the second period, as they'll be able to have the next puck drop ready. Still a lot of time, but they're nearing down the end of the second period. It's still a tie game. McCarron wins the faceoff, and he's now finding Blankenberg. Blankenberg finding Barron, and he has it over to Smith. Smith goes down. Rebound by Barron. Maroon now finding to Smith. Smith chance over now to Schaefer. Kyrou takes it out. Now as the Blues will have some new aggressive line change. Here's Kyrou, the big take here, and taken away by Blankenberg. And it goes out of the zone. Here's Parayko. Here's Parayko. Toward wing. Watching the zone and attacking in motion, and that one is blocked by Blankenberg. After a save made by Saros, he goes right up to McCarron as we're under a minute. Here's Schaefer. Schaefer has to revive. Nick Blankenberg again to Marchessault, finds it over to Baroon. Baroon, Blankenberg shot, glove save by Hofer. And it's over to Schaefer. Here's Baroon, and he does not get there. And therefore, we have ended the second period. It is still a tie game. A great chance for Juuse Saros, but a lot of big hit and the penalty kill doesn't get a power play. We'll be ready for the third period when we return in Smashville.
Hey everybody, welcome to the second intermission, as we are all finished with two periods, but there's only one more period remaining in the third. As we have a look at the statistics after the second, it was 27-11 for the total shots on goal for Nashville, 19/5 hits for St. Louis.
10:44 time on attack over 2:07 for Nashville. And it was 88 over 83 passing effectiveness. They've done so well, better than the last game against the Carolina Hurricanes. 12 over 4 face-off wins for Nashville, and it was only a penalty kill from St. Louis, and power play was only 2 minutes for Nashville. Now let's have the takes here about how was Nashville able to respond it with some big block shots and for the Blues and scale, as I start over to you, Terry, from Roy for St. Louis.
Well, I might say what they were going to do now is what Nashville could have done was they could have this little bit of a geeking gliding opportunity. But I've been saying now for you, Roman Josi, he has been like on fire for tonight. He's been like trying to watch on the post-to-post blanks, but there's no reason why they really kept it on from coming. But what I know about the St. Louis Blues, they are just really smacking it. And that happens with UC Saros. They have been really drepping it out, and he'd really start that one to get right by it. So there looks like they want to like deny this effort on the goal, and they don't want anybody to come right by it. That really is pretty crucial. They don't know how that's going to change. And how about you, Son of Beast, about Nashville? Nashville has been like really the hardest on the Percepted, and they've really been like warping it out. I'm really serious. What happens with Nashville, they're just keeping on from coming back. And for the head coaches, they need to explain it, but they don't really have a lot of time effort because the St. Louis Blues have been like cheaping it out. The price of it doesn't really make anything that's better of it for Nashville. They just really have to like keep on with the goal range. And that would have been a great chance here to have that goal taking the lead. And I don't know what will happen. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe we'll find out if there is a third period to have that goal range in for the lead. Remember the last game? Because of that one, it was St. Louis that they have a lead, but then it was going for wraparound for Stamkos. If you have watched this game, you have to see what Stamkos really makes. I think we need to see how the players come around with the wraparound and then find an answer to take the lead to break the chain. Well, that should be a good idea. Maybe that might be a great choice for Nashville to show things off.
And as for that, we end the second intermission here as we are now back to Nashville at Bridgestone Arena. Back in Smashville is Barry, and along with Scale, let's see what the third period brings on. Be back after the game.
See you later, everyone, after the third.
It is the wildest game, and it now comes to the third period in Smashville. We've been playing 2 periods, and now this is the third period where the lead might find an answer. All right, Scale, it's on to you and how that happened with the best plays by Hofer and the big chance in for UC Saros. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I gotta say what UC Saros made it do for him. He's really like on a tight machine. He's been like posting off of the blank shots. They refuses to not get away with them all. Even though that Saros made it look great, he definitely did work it off to come true to a lifetime. He was never been showing off it easily before, but they were watching it carefully. They were pretty sure that they were trying to like make sure that the teams are really wide into a spread of range. This is definitely the fire range that you got to watch on. Whenever you do for it, you don't want to make them like come out of the line group. And for the other side of it, as Hofer, this is one of the big machines that he does for. This huge range won't get away with this, but hopefully that this time the Hofer will have to see about that. Got to get it real if he can get across. Ominyosi starts it off. Fires, glove save by Goldfarb. 17:20 remaining in the third period as they're about to get their next puck drop here in the Blues territory. One of the biggest blast play of the game was Joel Hofer. And when I really have to say what Hofer made it was a big shutdown. He was really like kicking it out. Huge saves, and he just did not really spot it on where the target was coming from. Whenever it says about Nashville, they really have been like keeping the shots right around the goaltender, but that's where Joel Hofer stands in. He just really kept on coming by. Without Jordan Binnington as the backup goaltender, still watching and carefully for Joel Hofer as he's making a huge saves. That will be 29 of his saves of the game. St. Louis Blues now finds it over to Snugglerud. Snugglerud kicks it off, and it's now Stamkos the other way. This last part of the crowd was really turning to be like it's a hugest take on the win, and they have been watching it all night. It's now has Bunting. That's off to Steven Stamkos. He will now have it over to Hague. Here's Stamkos. Goes to Bunting. Here's Stamkos. Shoots. Gloved and saved by Hofer. Grover again to Shem. He has it over to Snuggle-Rug. As now the Smashville Predators are back in defense. Arakola with the takeaway, and it's now given to Bunting. Bunting slows things in the wing. Looks over, outside Hague. Hague swings and misses, and now Bunting will have it again at Burbank. Here's Hague shoot, gloved and saved by Wolfer. 15 minutes remaining in the third period. It's now Snuggle-Rug the other way. Well, that Snuggle-Rug is on a machine. The top line is a fast way to get through. Ken, right turn range, big save by Saros. He covers it. What a huge stop by the goaltender for Nashville. Here in downtown, think it's ticking down as Saros is making the hugest on the save. Smashville still tied it up for one, looking for a leadoff in the third. The win for the Blues. That one kicks off of Marchessault, and now as the Jets off, and now Marchessault finding Svechkov. Svechkov shot, Bucker saved by Hofer. He's now giving us Svechkov. About saving it over to Josie. Josie off the jumps. Now shots blocked up, and it's rebound by the press. Here's Shea. Go for the cut to Svechkov. That defender's on the traffic, and it's now Parayko again to Dvorsky. Parayko for the Blues. He'll now send it to Kyrou, and it goes offside. St. Louis Blues will head over into the neutral faceoff zone to have another puck drop. Still fan crowd loving it, as with only Ryan O'Reilly, he is making another huge faceoff wins. 5 consecutive in a row. And now the next chance is given a faceoff draw puck win for St. Louis. Here's Rustad. Now here's Roman Josi. Has it right over to Philip Forsberg. Nashville on the rush. That pass broken up as now Tucker will have it again to Falk. Falk. Pass to Stenberg. That one is off the skater and now finding Rustad. Rustad shot. Kick pass. Save made by Soros. And it goes right back to Josi. What a nice save and effort here for Roman Josi. And happens with Juuse Saros. He just makes it look clean. Just a great timing to expand it. Shea shots blocked. Rebound by Buchnevich. He has it over to Stenberg. Stenberg. Given away as Roman Josi has it. And now back to Emelisa. Emelisa will bank around the pass. And now here's Ryan O'Reilly. Ryan O'Reilly. Into the wing. Here goes to Nick Fermix on a shot. That's blocked by Hague. Hague rebounds and another save by the goaltender. Ryan O'Reilly. Rebound by Nick Fermix. Goes to Forsberg. Move around shot. Blocker save. Emelisa with a stop chance by Hofer. And Tucker. Third at range out to Stenberg as he passes the midway mark in the third. Stenberg looks at Kate patiently. And now here's Schaefer. Schaefer pass to Ferbix. Ferbix gives it to Smith. Here's a Smith shot. Blocker and another save by Hofer. Rebound by Smith. Full pressure is on for Nashville. Hague. Ferbix shoots. Redirected off of the defensive traffic and it's rebound by Neighbors. Cam Fowler. St. Louis rolls it out here to Nathan Walker. It's taken away by Nick Hague. Here's another chance to Schaefer. Schaefer chance. Broken the plate stick play by Nick Ferbix on Neighbors. Outside of Smith. Hip shoot off the face mask by Hofer. Hofer's going to hold it here with only 8:08 remaining in the third. And we'll stop that in play as we're nearing the 5-minute mark. Still no score in the leadoff game. It is still a tie game. Nashville and St. Louis. Try to look for a pressure in for the leadoff. As Ferbix has that one. Now he'll have it again to Bunting. Bunting. Crossing around the ice right now. This one's another save. And good stop by Hofer. Now finding Ferbix. Ferbix shoots. Blocker save. And it's back to Cam Fowler. Oh my goodness. I was never been saw that one coming. That was a huge save. What a big take on. That action is definitely going to keep rolling it in. Pad stop made by Saros. Now here's for Nashville. There, go back the other way. And that one did not get in front to Steven Stamkos. Here's Jordan Kyrou against Josi. And right behind the net is Michael Bunting. Has it now over to Brandon Hague. Hague. Allen for loose puck. Borski now has it over to Kyrou. Good poke check. That one is out of the zone. And now it's Blues will have to regroup the puck. Nicholas Hague. Over to O'Reilly. O'Reilly will now have it again to Emelisa. Dish up the Forsberg on a transfer. Big save by Hofer. 5:17 remaining in the third period of regulation as we're ready for another puck drop. Cam Fowler seems to be like he's out in the difficult range, and that is where the big hit is going to really race up. You see that big attack coming from Arikala? He is right down. He's been like snapped. Nashville and St. Louis are ready for a next draw puck drop as they're nearing down the final 5 minutes. And the win will be on Holloway. We have now passed down to a final 5 minutes presented by Discover. As Romaniosi has it again to Emelisa. Nashville back into St. Louis territory. He goes to Yossi. Goes with the cut motion. A big stop being made by Hofer. O'Reilly sends it. He denies by the goaltender. Right to Bouchard. Over to Dvorsky. He takes a big smackdown. What a big hit here for the Preds. And it's back to Jake Neighbors. Under 4 minutes remaining in the third period. And Shea's got it down. Right back to Emelisa. Nashville trying to wait patiently here. And now as Emelisa trying to let the teams get to a win. And coming back on ice is Haig. Haig sets Furbix. And Emelisa crossing for the backhander shot. He scores! The leadoff. Emelisa with 2 goals. There's no take when you have no eye and opportunity. That's what Emelisa made it do, and that is a big on-pass play when you just don't have the right choice to do for him. Now, watch what happens with Emelisa. That pass angle, he was really like been whipping it through, and he doesn't want to get tripped on the goaltender, and he misses. That one waits just on him patiently, and that's a sidetracker when you're doing it for Luke Emelisa. Watch where this pass play goes. That one gives it up, and his legs goes right back. He just made it clean. He is not over the creasing line. He just made it look good. Comfortable tying scores. Now they got the lead. It's a 2-1 game as Nashville is up in front. The final 3 minutes remaining as Steven Stamkos throw it over to Bunte. And Snugglrod. Behind the wall, right to Shen. Then shoots. Big save by Soros. Roman Yossi has it now to Holla. Again to Shea. And one stopped again by Hofer. Shea. Pass to Emelisa. He goes for 3. Glove save by Hofer. And he'll get a stop and play with under 2 minutes remaining in the third period of regulation. And now who had the best play of the night? I will now send it over to Salvatore.
Thanks, folks. About the same time what we known for. Everyone says juice, but his name goes for goose. Saros has made a great save on that placing. The biggest run is nowhere to be matched. I've been watching him for so many times, and what I've been saying about Susie Saros, he just makes a great kill on the range. This is where he takes that, the win to kill him. We'll find out what Saros has done. Guys, here comes Mitch Davis. Perfect 6 over after under a minute remaining in the regulation. Forsberg now finds it okay here. He hits it over to Ryan O'Reilly. Ryan Forsberg. Good shot. Big save by Forsberg. Fox team now ready to get over to Bushard, and now we got an extra attack coming on. For the St. Louis. Stenberg. Washington. Glove save by Saros. 34 seconds remaining in the third period as they're ready to kick off for our next puck drop. Crowd is starting to go rise in Smashville. As now they're ready for another puck drop. Let's see what they take. Shane wins the faceoff. The fire shot. It's over the skater. Marcusol will roll around the net. And he's over to Shea. He looks to Gauss. Empty net is raced out and wide. Trying to look for a rebound in. And now it's given away. Gauss. Backhand. Shots blocked. Neighbors. That's the Snugglrod. And that gives to Tucker. Here's the Snugglrod. Last chance for the Blues. On the range in. Studied by Saros. And he kicked it out. Marchesol clears. And that is going to end in Smashville. Nashville Predators. That's taken. And they have won over the Blues in regulation. The flat back I said about Susie Saros, he's really been like showing it off. No patient pressures in there. That's what Nashville has done. They have won. And a big salute to the fans. That's for G Nash.
We have dominated and we got a hunger on the Blues. So that is it for tonight. Thank you all for watching for tonight's of the game, for the game of the night, and we will be seeing you back here in Smashville. Along with my broadcast partner, along with Sal and of course Scale, I'm Barry. Good night in Tennessee of Smashville. Alright, thanks guys. Time for 3-star players of the game as the first star starts Roman Josi on UC Saros. The 17 saves is a big impact and he really made it look all in comfortable padding save. The second star player of the game, it goes to Luke Embelista with 2 goals and he only makes the cut. This motion range was nowhere to be wide, but that makes it a slip by and he just had the right timing to go right in. And then your first star player of the game goes to Joel Hofer. 44 saves is the only number that made it look through and without Jordan Binnington. Well, it's been like a hardest clash of division rival series, but that doesn't change anything. Indeed so. Time for the total statistics. 46/18 total shots and goal for Nashville. 25/7 for St. Louis. It was 1609/322 for Nashville. 88/87 percentage for St. Louis. 16/9 for face-off wins for Nashville. And it was 2-minute penalty kill for St. Louis and a power play for Nashville with only 2 minutes. It didn't stay it up that well, but that's how it is to come up at the end. Well, folks, that is it for the game of the night, as we will see you next time as we will get our next game ready. Because at this point, we have the Los Angeles Kings, and they will be playing against the San Jose Sharks on the other side of it. Not for real, but the most importantly, they'll see how they can able to answer it if they find an open look in the room to keep things going. We'll see you back here soon for the next game as they will face against the Winnipeg Jets for game number 12. Along with me and my broadcast partner, along with Barry and Scale, I'm Son of Beast, and I'm Roy Cruz. You've been watching the game of the night of the NHL on EA Sports. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time for as well as the NHL 26 gameplay dial. This is Son of Beast, signing out. Thanks for watching!
If you don't, somebody will.